Is 9.1.5 soon? Well, there's a new Lua file that mentions it. New file was added to CTN referencing deprecated functions in patch 9.1.5, hinting a release date may be sooner than expected. Maybe we'll hit the PTR soon since the story has wrapped up. There's the Lua. I've heard, little birdie, that there is a sort of, a bit of a will at Blizzard to make a sort of a patch to win people back. Hopefully that means Blizzard finally understanding that maybe they should just try to agree with their players a little bit more often instead of thinking they know best.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a specific developer that I know of that was involved in flame wars in users' DMs, where that developer kind of has a reputation for not really engaging with people that developer deems to be below their intellectual level, which is really funny considering it's not really that high.
I mean, if that's it, like, fuck me.
That, by the way, that individual's not on World of Warcraft anymore, so don't apply it to anyone you know about.
Yep.
But, just stories that are, like, hyper well known in the community. I mean, not known by, like, every person, but, like, I imagine if you're in the class discords, you're gonna know this shit, right?
For sure.
So, I mean, specifically what I'm talking about. I'm fairly sure the people in the class discords would know all of that. That's why Blizzard ended up having to change some of their Twitter policies many years ago, because it literally turned out you just can't trust some of these devs with a Twitter account.
Yep.
And yeah, man. So it's just that thing.
Yeah.
How can you trust them? I don't know. But anyway, apparently there is some sort of win back the people patch. I don't know if that'll be a 9.1 or a 9.2 or a 9.1.5 or a 9.2. Certainly, though, what does 9.1.5 have to do? I think that's a valid thing to talk about. And I think it's very simple. Threads of Fate absolutely needs to be balanced so that it makes sense.
Yep.
They then need to think about what are the free, easy wins that exist. As an example, that brawl we talked about earlier, people seem excited about that. What can we do there? Oh, we've also just learned that people really like leveling with time walking. Is there something we can do there in a quick systems patch? I wonder. So there's some very basic things. Then if you want your 9.1.5 to actually make people happy, you start, maybe you can't do this right now, but let's just say 9.2. You need to end the covenant restrictions in patch 9.2. Make it make sense in the narrative. It already would make sense in the narrative, but they can't continue because they're just fucking stupid. And this is an expansion that to a lot of people feels quite alt unfriendly, right? Well, if it is just going to feel like that to some people, I think many would say that it's alt spec unfriendly more than it is alt unfriendly. Because, if you're doing a new alt, you can just sort of suck it and get through those big chores. At least if those issues are to persist, if there is way less of a covenant restriction, then that's just more content for people to do, more rewards for them to achieve. Some things there. Account-wide. Valor points. The Valor Point upgrade tiers, those must be account-wide. That was a big...
They were.
Yeah, they were in Season 1. They're not in Season 2 because of the new change. That can't continue.
Engagement.
Yeah, that can't continue. 9.1.5, better have domination shards on a vendor to purchase with something. Maybe Embers, who the hell knows? It needs to have that.
It's to do with the Embers, problem solved.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things. A lot of things need to happen that are just removing pain points that they put in there for seemingly no good reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's so brutal because the thing that will bring people back will be lore they care about and content they care about. That is basically the number one priority for the vast majority of players. If they can have lore and content that people care about, that's most of the battle won. But then they have to, those have to be designed with decent principles in mind, which means that what 9.1.5 can do, and to an extent what 9.2 can do, because I feel like with what's happening at Blizzard, they're maybe not going to have the most content ready for 9.2, unless they had a lot of stuff in the tank that they didn't push for 9.1. Which means 9.1.5 needs to be the most free win system changes imaginable, which includes leveling in Torghast, drop the Soul Cinder and Soul Ash weekly restrictions to just let people, even if you want to cut them down a little bit or something like that, just let people get as much as they want by playing the game. little things like that. The changes for Threads to Fate completely speed up how leveling works. Just all of that stuff that people actually want. You have to prove that you're making decisions in the right direction for the right reasons. Go out of your way to make sure that specs can save individual conduit stuff or remove. I mean, I was going to say remove conduit energy because that's a big one. But I feel like the actual solution there is remove conduit energy and then make sure specs have their specific saved ones. So you can have, you know, all three specs using Nia or Dreamweaver without having to change manually every time. Because then that's player freedom, that's player stuff. Pull the ripcord, make the fucking ripcord, pull the ripcord. Not having the ripcord is not an excuse. You're the developers of the game. You can make it however you want to make it. Make it the way we like to see it. And then start the content that we want. Yeah. But it's a very, 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 very slow path to returning. And it needs to be extremely considered. And 10.0 needs to be the expansion that people want. And it doesn't need to be the expansion that they were originally going to make and want to make, but with changes for us. It needs to be, we've made the expansion that our players want. Yeah. That's what needs to happen. And 9.1.5 can be the first step on that, but it needs to be huge. I need to see 20 of those blue posts about those conduit changes, about each individual thing going into 9.1.5. And it better come with an apology. Yeah. Because this, like, I wouldn't even mind them not apologizing for making mistakes on design principles. That's not something that's really, like, deserves an apology. Because I think as a player, that's a little bit, you know, they don't need to apologize. I can just not play the game. But the apology needs to come for
the show of goodwill. I'd go a bit more extreme than you, maybe. I think there needs to be an apology.
See, I would say there needs to be an apology, but only because of the paid beta test stuff. Fair. That's what I mean. It's the stuff of, hello, we are very sorry that our game isn't ready 9 months after we released it, which is however many months after we sold it to you. It's ready now. And then do whatever they can player-wise to actually bring people back that way. And actually apologize and make it actually fucking feel that way. Because I feel like that's what... players are tired of feeling like they don't matter to Blizzard.
Yeah.
And the solution is to make players matter to them. Make players matter and make players feel like they matter. Preferably in that order. And sad to say, they're going to have to do that while they're also cleaning up ship internally. But that's Blizzard's fault for letting it get that way in the first place.
Bang on. Bang on. I just think the apology you needed. Like, look, some bad shit goes on in FF. Yoshi P apologizes.
Yeah. Sorry, the world's so bad we can't get servers. That's on me. We'll try to fix it.
It can't just be, oh, we've announced there's not artifact power this time round and the crowd has applauded them. No, it's like, it's actually got to be we're sorry, we're genuinely sorry, it won't happen again. We were wrong.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, hearing the WoW team just admit they were wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, what happens when a bunch of rock stars hire super fans?